Uh, so we had a funeral today, Jeannie and I, for one of my closest friends, dad, who has been somewhat of a mentor of mine a long time ago when I was in the job world. And oh, it's all spiked up. And really, really good man. Really, really good man. And I last years of his life was just really hard. Um, for his health, it really started going downhill about like he was almost 92. He's a week away from turning 92. And back years ago, right after probably right after Gina and I got married, like over 30 years ago, and uh, just one of these vigorous, men. He was in the Air Force and he had three children. Um, my buddy Roger is one of the best friends, and he's the one that's his son. And I go over there and he would give me advice and I would ask for his advice. He was very, very smart man, super articulate, probably one of the best people that I know that had a really great command of the English language. He was just really great. He was one of those guys that can articulate in such a way without being verbose. He could just, and he utilized the English language in such a way that made you wonder, man, this guy must read a lot. And so during the years when his health was declining, it was really hard to kind of see this man who had such vigor in his life. And he ended up starting his own business in the defense contracting world and highly respected on base. And we had collaborated on a couple things, interestingly enough, when I was over there. And he was a really good mentor in many respects. One thing, though, that was that stood out about him was that he lived his faith. He's a very strong Catholic guy and really lived his faith. And he it wasn't. You just knew it. You knew that he lived his faith just by what he did. He didn't really talk about it as much as he lived it. And I'm sure you probably know people like that, right? People that they're living their faith. They go to church like multiple times during the week, and they just by their actions, but they don't draw any attention to themselves at all in that regard. But and so it was. So at the end of his life, for those of you who are Catholic, he died on the Feast of the Assumption, the 15th, on Thursday. And that's when we celebrate the Blessed Mother's journey back to heaven. And so that was when he died. It was like amazing. And so he had his funeral today, and his son, Roger, all three, or his sister's daughter talked about him at the end of our service. And then Roger went up there and he said that he could say all kinds of things about his dad that everyone would know about and so on. He said one of the most important things that he did for Roger was, number one, he gave him his faith. He was an example of his faith. And it was just one of the best things I've ever heard in the eulogy of of a son to his father. And it's one of these things that I don't know if you guys ever read the book The Seven Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen Covey. It's a fantastic book. If you had a chance to read it, it's just a wonderful book, because in the first chapter, I believe it's the first chapter, he talks about what would you want people to say about you at your funeral? How would you want people to talk about you? How would you want to be remembered? And the whole exercise, he said, like, write out your eulogy. What would you want people to say about you? And I would want people to say that about me. I mean, it it really talks about that whole exercise talks about what do you aspire to be? What would you want people to say about you? Do you want people to say that, yeah, that guy sure knew how to make a lot of money, you know? Or would you like people to say, you know what, because, that person lived, my spiritual life totally changed. I got on track with how to be a better husband, how to be a better father, how to be a better brother, how to be a better sister, because he lived the way he lived his life and the stuff he talked about just really inspired me to become, a much better person. And to me, that's kind of like, wow, what an ultimate way to leave this earth. There are few people that, you know, that I help just find their way, I guess. I'll just say it like that. I want to, but so I would really encourage you to do that exercise for yourself. Like, what would you want people to say at your funeral about you? Like, outline the kind of person after your life is over, whether it was, whether you, whether you go next year, next month, or 30 years from now when you're 92, like a week away from 92, like Mr. Laurel, uh, what would you want people to say at your funeral about you? And it's a really worthy exercise because it makes you think about what you value most of all in your life. Um, I think we have a great opportunity to make a great career, to make money, and to make an impact on our clients' lives by covering them with insurance and retirement planning and estate planning, all the things that we do, you know. Um, but man, what would you want your clients to say about you? It's like, would your clients want to say, man, Alex was a blessing to me. He came here and he helped me, and man, he was a blessing. You know, that's what I would want. I would want my clients to feel like I was a blessing in their lives, and in whatever manner that I served them, and definitely some of them could say, man, Alex prayed for me. I told him about trouble I was having, and he just took my hand and said, can I pray with you? And, you know, those kind of things are, I think, the moments that, that you'll treasure, on your deathbed. Like on your deathbed, what kind of thoughts are you going to have? You're going to have those thoughts of, gee, I wish I could have, or you can have those thoughts that, man, I ran my race. I put it all out there. I served the Lord with all my heart, with all my soul. I did everything I could, man. I was not perfect, right? I'm a sinner, but I'm forgiven and I did everything I could. Yeah. So that's what I think, when I think about it. Actually, I did something very similar. Maybe I'll share it with you if you got time at the end. I did something very similar to that, and maybe I'll share it with you. We'll see. Anyway, it got me I'm thinking a lot. So I just hope you all think about that, and I think it'll be a valuable exercise. And I think it could really help you on the insurance side because, after all, what we do is we serve people with what we do. Our compensation is a measure of our service to others. And I think when you put others in mind, others ahead of yourself, uh, your life is much better. You're much more fulfilled. And I think you'll be a more joyful person when you can make a difference in someone else's life. And I think we have that tremendous opportunity here, whether you're selling, whether you're building a business, whether you're selling and building a business, the impact is tremendous. And I truly believe this. I mean, if you're on my Wednesday's calls are going to have to be modified. So I'm going to find another time to do those because I'm involved in it's a spiritual group that are putting on a retreat in October. So we're like working every Wednesdays to get our stuff together. So I might have to find another time, but you know, think about what if the Lord called you to do this, then he gave you everything. The grace he gave you to do this is enough. And when you are feeling defeated or you're feeling like you just can't pick up the phone again, it's like, man, why would he mess with you in a way that would, you know, why would he lead you into something that would not be fruitful for you? He wouldn't do that, right? God allows things to happen for your good, okay? For your good, for your edification, for your building up your, your perseverance. And his grace is totally enough. It's enough. So, so acting in belief and faith that his grace is enough, it will help you pick up the phone and make one more dial. Pick up the phone and make one more dial. Go out, and even though you felt like it's going to be a no-show, you still go, get up in your car and you go, because his grace is enough. And it's designed to help you learn perseverance, because the virtue of perseverance is a powerful one in everything that you do, whether it's raising your children as a father, as a mother. Learning perseverance will aid you in that, whether it's going under a spiritual attack. Perseverance will help you. If it's just trying to make it through another week of dialing and booking appointments, especially when you don't feel like it, perseverance will help you overcome that. When you're having trouble with your relationship with your spouse, perseverance will help you through that, right? And perseverance through grace. His grace is enough. It'll fuel your perseverance, and you just have to hang in there long enough. Cracks me up when some people say, well, because I haven't booked an appointment in 2 weeks, maybe God's telling me I shouldn't do this. It's like, oh, geez. Well, I guess so. You believe what you want to believe. Whatever you believe, you're right. Right. But if you look at it differently, it's like, what is the Lord trying to teach me as I'm going through this? Is he trying to teach me strength? Is he trying to teach me how to tap into his grace? Is he trying to teach me perseverance? What can I learn from this? Maybe he's trying to teach you to communicate with your upline more, to get coaching. A wise person has many counselors. Maybe he's trying to teach you that you need to reach up to get help. Maybe he's teaching you to get rid of your ego, subvert your ego to someone who can help you, right? Submit your ego. That takes tremendous humbleness, which is another virtue maybe he's trying to teach you, is humbleness, the virtue of humbleness. So, don't be deceived. Do not be deceived. The enemy is trying to deceive you. His grace is enough. You need to act as if that's true, because it is true. Right. So anyway, all right, cool. Okay, I got 922. Well, cool. So as I mentioned, back to the Stephen Covey book, Seven Habits. I really encourage you to read that book if you haven't already. Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's a very easy book to read. But I think that chapter 1 is such an important one. So, so what I did, my exercise with it, because I needed to make it something very immediate, something more immediate. I didn't want to think about death so much. And so I put myself in the scenario, instead of a eulogy, for those of you that have had daughters get married, the way I pictured it is, what would I want my daughter to say about me before I walked her down the aisle, right? Like, what would I want her to describe me. And so the scenario is that she would, and this is Zoe, right? So this is Zoe, my oldest daughter. Actually, it was kind of funny because she was considering being a religious, a nun. But so I wrote this because I wonder what she would write about me. And really it was more, who do I want her to write about? Who's the person, who's the father that I want to be that she would write this letter to before we walk down the aisle. And so I'm going to read it to you because, man, I should read this every day, really. But so this is my exercise. So it gives you an example. Um, so, uh, so this is a letter from Zoe. Dearest Daddy, uh, well, it's finally here, the day that you give me away in marriage. I wanted you to read this before we walked down the aisle together because I could never tell you this in person without crying and ruining my makeup. And you know how much you paid the makeup artist to do my face. I want you to know how much I love you, not only because you're my daddy, but for the person I have become. You showed me how much you loved me through your example and the role model you became for me. Because you made sacrifices before I was even born to bring mommy home from work to be with me full time, I learned that I am important to you and I am a priority in your life. Because you were free to go to all my basketball games, tennis matches, piano recitals when my friends' daddies were too busy at work to attend, I felt confident that no matter how well I performed, you would always be there screaming for me and supporting me. And I'll always treasure that ice cream cone we had after the games to tell me how great I was. Because of your strength and faith in God and his son Jesus and how you live the gospel every day, I learned that I am also a child of God made in his own image and that I have value because of it, value enough for Jesus to give his life for me. Because I saw you give yourself away to others, driving miles for people, some of whom never really appreciated all you did for them. I learned that there is value in others who deserve the same opportunity I had in having full-time parents. I also learned that when you serve God's people unselfishly, you are not only blessed here on earth, but you also store your treasures in heaven. Because I saw you tithe and offer the first fruits of your labor, I learned that my source is always God, not a job or even the business, and that by giving away more, you receive more in abundance. You taught me that you can't outgive God. Because you gave me a godfather and godmother and Uncle Roger and Aunt Maureen, strong in their faith and unswerving in their convictions, I learned to always seek the truth through the Holy Spirit's guidance, because by knowing the truth, it will set me free. Because I saw you say, I'm sorry to people with big egos who were in the wrong, I learned humility of spirit and the ability to forgive 70 times, 7 times. Because I only heard encouraging and uplifting positive words come out of your mouth, I learned how powerful the spoken word is and how to be a blessing to everyone I meet. Because of the way you love mommy by your words and your actions and the way you treated me as a lady worthy of the highest respect, I learned to respect myself and expect that from every gentleman I've met. Because you taught me that a man should have vision, honor, integrity, character, and faith in God through Jesus, not by words, but by your actions. Today, I will marry the man of my dreams because he's just like you. Remember, you'll always be my daddy, and I always will be your little girl. I love you, Daddy. Zoe. So I'm still striving to be that guy. Um, I'm working it out, but this is what I would hope, that she would think of me. And but I hope, at the end of my life, that people would say these things about me as well. So, it's more than just business, but it is business. It's the business of what God wants us to do. It's his will. If it's his will that we're in this to serve, then let's serve. Let's serve with all our hearts. Let's serve with all our strength in what we're supposed to do. But we do it out of love, right? We do it out of love because everyone's a child of God. And our identity is that we're all children of God. And so, as a child of God serving another child of God, here's what I know. I know that every time I went out to go serve someone and they didn't show up, I know that God's looking at me and said, well done. You went out in faith. They decided not to show up, but your job was not to just sell insurance. Your job was to show me that you love me enough to go get in your car, go out there, hoping that would show up, that you could serve them, but they decided not to. Well done. I'm going to bless you. It's not making a sale. It's having the faith. Like Mother Teresa, St. Mother Teresa of Calcutta said, God doesn't want us to be successful. He wants us to be faithful. And every time you pick up the phone, you're exercising faith. Every time you get in your car and go serve someone, you're exercising faith. Every time you slam that phone for 8 hours trying to find someone who's really interested, you're exercising your faith. And God looks down on you and sees what you're doing. And he will send people your way to help you become better. But man, he's going to bless you because you're doing what he wants you to do. Just doing it out of faith. And when you do it out of faith, man, I promise you the blessings will come. The blessings will come in so many ways. So anyway, thanks everybody. I appreciate you all being on this call. God bless, man. Get on the leaderboard. Show me your faith and let's go serve some more families. God bless everybody. See ya.